John, a 30-year-old marketing executive, had been swiping through profiles on a popular dating app for weeks. Each swipe felt like a routine, a mere distraction from his hectic work life. Maisie, a 28-year-old graphic designer, was equally disillusioned with online dating, feeling like she was looking for a needle in a haystack. But then on a Friday evening as the sun set over the city, they both swiped right and matched. John, eager to impress, crafted a witty and charming message to Maisie. He decided to play it cool and compliment her on her taste in music, which was prominently displayed on her profile. John's message:
Hey Maisie, anyone who loves 80s rock as much as I do must have great taste. What's your favorite album?
Maisie, relieved to receive a message that wasn't a cheesy pickup line, replied quickly.
Hi, John. Tough question, but I'd have to go with Queen's A Night at the Opera. What about you?
After a few days of playful banter, John and Maisie decided to meet in person. They agreed on a quaint little cafe downtown that boasted live music on Saturday nights. John, wanting to make a great first impression, suggested they meet at 7 p.m.
Perfect. I'll be the guy in the blue shirt with a copy of To Kill a Mockingbird on the table.
And I'll be the girl in the red dress with a sketchbook. See you then.
The day of the date arrived, and both John and Maisie were a bundle of nerves. John spent an extra 20 minutes making sure his shirt was perfectly ironed, while Maisie meticulously chose the right shade of lipstick. But as fate would have it, a series of unexpected events set the stage for a night neither of them would forget. John arrived at the cafe, but to his surprise, it was packed to the brim. The live band playing was far more popular than he'd anticipated. After some searching, he managed to find a table near the back. But in the crowded chaos, he mistakenly sat down at the wrong table, where a different woman was already seated.
Maisie?
No, I'm Karen, but I'm flattered.
Embarrassed, John quickly apologized and moved to another table, this time correctly identifying the red dress, only to find that the woman wearing it wasn't Maisie either. Meanwhile, Maisie had arrived at the cafe and was equally overwhelmed by the crowd. She saw a man in a blue shirt sitting at a table with a book. Assuming it was John, she approached confidently, only to realize too late that the man was deep in conversation with someone else.
Oh, sorry, wrong table.
Flustered, she backed away and found a quiet corner to regroup. She pulled out her sketchbook, hoping that John would find her amidst the bustling crowd. After several minutes of awkward glances and mistaken identities, John and Maisie finally locked eyes across the room. With a mix of relief and amusement, they both walked toward each other.
Maisie, I presume?
And you must be John. I've already mistaken two other guys for you, so third time's the charm, right?
They both laughed, the initial tension melting away as they sat down together. As they settled into their seats, the conversation flowed naturally. They shared stories about their embarrassing moments in the cafe, bonding over the absurdity of the situation. The live music provided a perfect backdrop, adding to the light-hearted atmosphere.
Honestly, I was starting to think this date was cursed.
If it is, at least we're both in it together.
Their chemistry was undeniable, and as the night went on, the initial misunderstandings became a running joke between them. As the evening progressed, John and Maisie discovered that they had more in common than they initially thought. They both loved spontaneous road trips, had a weakness for bad puns, and shared a passion for helping stray animals. The laughter never stopped, and by the time the band played its final song, they were already making plans for a second date. Outside the cafe, under the soft glow of the streetlights, John and Maisie lingered, reluctant to say goodbye. The night had been far from perfect, but it was the imperfections that made it memorable.
So, how about we try this again next week? Maybe somewhere less crowded.
Sounds like a plan. Just promise not to mistake another girl for me this time.
They both laughed as John leaned in for a hug. Maisie smiled, feeling a warmth she hadn't felt in a long time. The next day, both John and Maisie couldn't stop thinking about the date. Despite the chaos, it had been one of the best nights they'd had in a long time. They texted each other, sharing more jokes and making plans for their next adventure together. As the weeks went by, John and Maisie's relationship blossomed. They continued to laugh at the mishaps that brought them together, knowing that sometimes, love finds you when you least expect it. Through a swipe, a series of misunderstandings, and a night full of laughter, And so what started as just another swipe on a dating app turned into a story they'd tell for years to come. Love, as they learned, often arrives in the most unexpected ways, and sometimes all it takes is a little chaos to find it. Like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this.